So what else? Tell me what else about that.
So we're going to talk about adulting.
Yeah.
Because people seem to forget that. They think they're never going to die. So if I don't make out a will, a medical power of attorney.
Yes.
And here I am with my dear friend Emily,
Hi.
who is a hospice nurse.
Yes, I am actually. So this topic is near and dear to my heart.
I get that, and that's
Yeah.
why I want to hear from you, and you dealing with people who are on their final chapter,
I am, yeah.
and how important this is to have a will, a medical power of attorney, a living will. These are all important things that people just don't want to face because they think if I fill it out, I'm going to die tomorrow.
Or it means I'm giving up,
That too.
right?
I
Or
agree.
it's just too big, too scary, too emotional to
Mhm.
face it. And can I spiel? Can I give you
Oh,
a little
absolutely.
ramble? I like to tell people a couple of things about this topic. So when I first meet someone and talk about hospice, we talk about what it means, why hospice, why now, what's the hospice philosophy, that kind of stuff. But today's not about hospice. Today is about end-of-life planning. So what I like to say to people is there's a couple of good reasons to do this. Maybe the most important reason is because, let's say, Carol is my decision maker. I decide that Carol is the one who will choose what happens to me if I can't answer for myself. Carol has to live with that decision.
Mhm.
So she should be confident, right? Hopefully, she would feel rock solid confident.
I would be honored
Wouldn't
to
you?
make your last
Of
wishes
course.
my priority.
And you would be really careful to make sure that you understood me very well, right?
Mhm.
So that brings me to the second point. Don't wait till there's a crisis to talk about it. These things are gigantic discussions.
Absolutely.
I find it easier to have a discussion like this when there's a party in the room that's not really involved in the emotion. So if it's your mom and dad and you're a hospice nurse and you're good at talking about this stuff, you might want to bring a buddy because now there's emotions involved.
Mhm.
And so the best time to discuss it is when you're not in a crisis, right? When you don't need to discuss it.
Absolutely.
There's a third reason that I like people to get their end of life planning out of the way, and that's in case there's any fighting. If there's going to be any fighting after the end, people behave
They'll fight over 5 cents.
well under any circumstances, but then after a death in the family, it can be incredibly emotional, and sometimes people behave in a way that they wouldn't normally behave because they're under stress, and it's a huge acute amount of stress, right? Acute meaning short-term intensity to the stress.
And I tell people, do you hate your family that much that you would make out a will so that a lawyer, probate, and everybody else in line, the pecking order, would take from your estate and you would leave your loved one nothing?
Yeah, trying to turn your perspective to think about this is about who's left behind. This isn't about the person who's dying.
No.
This is about having things be prepared and tidy for those who are left behind. Now, if you don't like those who are left behind, that's none of my business. Maybe you leave a mess for them to unfold. None of my business.
Payback's a
However,
bitch.
yeah. However, if you are like me, then you want to think that those who are left behind are going to have an efficient, like the easiest way possible to deal with all of this really hard stuff.
Thank you, Emily. I just really wanted to make our listeners hear and think about these things. Not that it has to be done tomorrow, but you know what? Don't put off what you can do today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I really want people to know your will, living will, powers of attorney, all those things. It's time to adult.
And we can just call it advanced directives if you want, or end of life planning. And anyone in your medical world can help you get started with that if you need help. And I bet even Carol can help you get started.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
I love seeing you.
I love
It's
you.
so good. I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome.